Hey, Robin, thank you again for taking a few minutes to talk through your experience on the multi-agency food drive last year. Your insights will help communicate the real impact of this collaboration. This will be quick, just a few focus questions. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so the first question to start, can you share what your role looked like during the initiative and what parts of the effort you were most directly involved in?
Sure. I was a program manager supporting like the overall coordination. My role really focused on connecting the dots between the partners. There were several different partners involved and making sure the logistics and timelines, data, communications, all stayed aligned and everybody was on the same path so that we could be efficient.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then the second question is more aligning with collaboration. So this project brought together many different organizations, Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma, Oklahoma Department of Health Services, Amazon Last Mile, PepsiCo Food for Good, Love's Travel Stops, Hobby Lobby, and of course our team at Corbeau Tech. From
Yeah.
your perspective, what stood out to you about how everyone worked together?
What stood out to me most was the genuine, mission-driven attitude that everybody had. Everybody involved at all the organizations used their expertise to make sure that we were doing things the most efficient way possible to make, to get to the goal, to get the boxes of food to the people. There was a real shared understanding at the very beginning of this project that how important it was and how urgent it was. And when the challenges came up, we did have some challenges. The response was, like never, that's not my lane. It was just, how do we solve this? What's the best way? There was a level of trust that happened pretty quickly and organically because, this just all happened. It's not like we knew each other. And everybody was really pretty flexible without losing any accountability. And I think that really made it successful and a good experience for us.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And this kind of leads into the next question, specifically talking about challenges that do tend to occur with every project. Every effort, of course, challenges vary, of course, but maybe things aligning with logistics, timing, volume, coordination, things like that. What were some of the biggest challenges the team faced, and how did everyone work through them? And I know you covered a little bit of that, but was there anything that you wanted to add?
Um, I mean, the urgency, which I mentioned earlier, but there was there's a lot I didn't realize personally until working with some of this, that how much goes on behind the scenes to get direct to home deliveries across lots of households. Like I said, there took multiple partners, multiple systems, and I do feel like even though it was short lived, there was constant adjustments. Um, the the main thing is that we stayed transparent, communicated real often, and responded with the most efficient answer that we could execute on. So there was a lot of conversation, a lot of ideas thrown out, and we walked away with a solution every conversation, it seemed like.
Wow, that's amazing. You can't ask for more. I mean, like we talked about, challenges always do occur, but I think that constant communication, being upfront and transparent, and then focusing on finding a, feasible solution that leads to success is always key for any project. So thank you for sharing that. And then question 4 talks about more on the human impact. We talked a little bit about that. When you think about the families the project supported and everything that went into making it happen, what moment or realization stays with you the most?
Knowing that our work helped remove even just one barrier, whether it was stress or uncertainty or actually hunger in a difficult time. We can't solve all of the problems, but hopefully we helped give that a little bit of relief. It made all the complexity worth it. It's a it's a good reminder that logistics and planning ultimately serve people, and every decision we made an impact on actually getting the boxes from their packing site to a doorstep. So I do feel grateful that I feel like we helped relieve some stress for some families.
That is an incredible response, and I completely agree. It's the real impact that the projects lead to, those outcomes are what truly matters. And like you said, all of the potential chaos, logistic wise or other, it leads to something truly incredible. So I completely agree with that. And then question 5 is all about looking ahead in the future. Is there anything you hope people take away from this collaboration, or anything you'd like to see happen in the future with efforts like this?
And I briefly talked about setting up more of a little response team type situation for some of these agencies. I think since we've done it once, like it'll be easier next time, because there was a lot of things we just had to figure out along the way, kind of build it while we were flying. But I do hope that everybody that we worked with the different organizations, remember how we were able to share a mission, share a goal, and then get there together, and that it took us all. It took everybody doing their part, staying in their lane, but also being, helpful and flexible. And that is something that I hope everybody that was involved takes, remembers and keeps in their mind.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, that wraps up this interview. Again, thank you so much for your time, Robin. This is incredibly helpful.